tiny township of Grantham, located west of Brisbane in Australia, was devastated by floods on the 10th of January 2011. Sandy Creek, which runs through the town, became a muddy torrent when a massive wall of water hit without warning. Many people perished, including children. Much of the town was devastated. The carnage left livelihoods ruined, properties destroyed, and lives shattered. As locals ran for their lives, they heard people trapped in their homes crying in anguish as they were swept away. The entire town of around 150 homes was virtually wiped out. Cars, boats and planes were washed into the treetops. Most of the debris became a tangled mess trapped at the railway bridge near town. Nearly 6 months later, Fred, Chris, Sharon and I went for a ride through the Lockyer Valley to Grantham to see what had become of the place since the floods. As we rode through the Lockyer Valley and its townships, it's hard to imagine the devastation that happened here. It wasn't until we got talking to the locals of Grantham that we realised just how much the people here were still suffering. Facing financial hardship, life savings were being depleted by the people of Grantham as insurers and government departments withheld funding urgently needed for rebuilding. Fred had decided before we rode out here that we should try to do something to help the people of Grantham. The plan was simple: organise a bike run and make it a food and fuel run to inject some money into the Grantham community. 2 weeks later, Fred, Chris, Sharon and I got together with Kiwi, Wang, Carl, Fibo, Jamie and Crackers for a run to Grantham. We all met at Belmont on the south side of Brisbane, and we were soon on the road to Grantham. Although we were small in numbers, we were big in heart and hell-bent on going to Grantham and giving them a financial boost. Once we pulled into the main street of Grantham and looked around, it was hard to imagine the wall of water covering the roofline of these buildings, washing away everything in its path. Sandy's store was one of the buildings washed away, and now the Lucky 7, which offers local supplies, fresh food and hot coffee, is housed in this transportable building. One thing we all agreed upon is not how little or how much we do, it's important that we at least do something by buying food and fuel at the only two businesses operating since the flooding. Before we left town, we caught up with Chris at the servo, which had only recently reopened, and fueled up for the trip home. As we rode back toward Brisbane, you couldn't help but feel for the people of this region and the difficulties they were facing in rebuilding and moving on with their lives. As we made a final stop at the Walloon Saloon, we all agreed the day was a great success and a sad experience, yet an enjoyable ride. Sometime soon we'll be doing another ride to Grantham and hopefully inspire more people to join in on the next run. True to real Australian mateship and a bit of the old Kiwi spirit about helping your mates, you can be sure we will be back to see the people, the survivors of Grantham, again.